Why are hard things actually fake hard? Have you ever noticed how some people get things done without drama? They wake up early. They work out consistently. They learn new skills. They build habits. And you look at them and think, how is this easy for them and hard for us? Here's the brutally honest truth. Hard things aren't hard because they're hard. They're hard because you believe you're the kind of people for whom those things are hard. Your brain doesn't measure the actual difficulty. It doesn't measure time. It doesn't measure energy. Your brain measures the emotion you have attached to the task. So if you once felt frustrated, stressed, overwhelmed, or defeated by something, your brain will send the same emotion every time you face it again, automatically. That's why when you're about to do something hard, your mind reacts like, ugh, this is too much. This will take forever. I'm not in the mood. I'll start tomorrow. And none of that has anything to do with reality. It's just perception. So today we're diving into this question. How do you train your brain to experience hard things as easier? And hey, if this kind of content speaks to you, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We talk about mental growth, discipline, habits, and inner strength every day. But now let's go deeper. Your brain doesn't judge difficulty by reality, but by emotion. When you think about a task, your brain does something fascinating. It doesn't ask, how hard is this, actually? It asks, what emotion do I associate with this? If you've ever had bad experiences with studying, working out, dieting, deadlines, or waking up early, your brain uses that same emotional filter for everything similar. For your brain, just one unpleasant experience is enough to label something as uncomfortable, stressful, dangerous, or negative. And suddenly a task that takes 15 minutes feels like a mental mountain. Here's the key truth. Your feeling of difficulty isn't objective. It's an emotional habit. And that's why the first breakthrough is simply understanding. Difficulty is perception. Perception can be trained. Why hard is actually just a habit. Your brain is a machine designed to save energy. It loves shortcuts. It loves the familiar. It loves what you've done 1,000 times. So, if you regularly postponed things, avoided discomfort, or got used to saying later, your brain simply learned that route. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, not because you're not capable, but because your brain learned. We avoid this, and then everything requiring effort starts feeling too big. But here's the amazing part. If your brain can learn avoidance, it can learn persistence. This means people who seem disciplined weren't born that way. They trained their minds to follow through. Their discipline is a habit, not a personality trait. In other words, you're not the problem. The habit is the problem. And habits change through small steps, which brings us to the next point. Reframing, the mindset shift that changes everything. Reframing is one of the most powerful mental techniques. When you say, "This is hard," your body tightens, your brain activates resistance, your motivation drops. But when you say, "This is just new," everything softens. New doesn't mean painful. New doesn't mean scary. New doesn't mean you can't do it. New simply means you're not used to it. You're not in the rhythm yet. You haven't mastered it yet. Try this switch. Instead of, "It's hard for us to wake up early," say, "This is just new for us." Instead of, "We struggle with discipline," say, "We're just not used to this rhythm yet." When you move something from hard to new, your brain removes resistance, because new things trigger curiosity, not fear. This is a tiny mental trick with massive power. Microdoses of discipline. Small actions build a strong identity. Most people try to change their entire life overnight. Starting tomorrow, 1-hour workouts. Monday, everything changes. Today, perfection only. And then the brain panics, rejects, freezes. Why? Because the brain hates extreme change. That's why we use microdosing discipline. Do the smallest possible version of the task. Not 30 minutes of exercise, just 5. Not an hour of studying, try 10 minutes. Not a perfect diet, just one simple switch. Why do microdoses work? Because your brain only records one thing. You did it. You completed it. You showed up. It doesn't care about the size of the action, only the consistency. And consistency is what transforms identity. When you do small things every day, your mind can no longer convince you, I'm someone who quits, because it sees evidence. I finish. I show up. I move forward, even if it's small, and then something huge happens. Your self-image starts to change. When your identity shifts, your habits begin to follow effortlessly. When your identity changes, hard things become easy. This is the heart of everything. People try to change their habits without changing the identity behind them. But habits are a reflection of identity. If you believe, it's hard for me to work out, I'm not good at studying, I don't have discipline, I'm not organized, your brain will try to keep proving that. But when you consistently create new evidence, through microdoses of discipline, your identity shifts. You become the kind of person who finishes things, doesn't quit, shows up even when it's not perfect, builds habits that move you forward, manages your energy and emotions. And suddenly, hard things stop feeling hard. Challenging things stop feeling overwhelming. Big tasks stop feeling scary. Not because the tasks changed, but because you changed. You become someone for whom those things are easy. That's the real mental transformation. Hard things don't disappear. They simply shrink as you grow above them. So, imagine yourself, 6 months from now, doing the things that feel challenging today, building habits, growing discipline, showing up, pushing through discomfort, until the discomfort becomes your new normal. Don't expect hard things to vanish. Expect yourself to rise. That's the real path forward, and it's a process worth committing to. If you want more content like this, and if you want us to grow together in discipline, focus, and mental strength, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. This is just the beginning.